half. Yeah, pretty crazy.
So welcome to the Holistic Kids Show. My name is Dane.
My name is Abdullah.
And my name is Dimad.
We're the Holistic Kids here to educate us kids from the inside out. Our brains are so powerful, but did you know you can actually train your brain to be even more powerful?
What? We all hear about training our body. What is training our brain? Does our brain lift weights?
I don't think it has hands or feet.
Yeah, and that's why today we have Mr. Ashok Gupta here with us today. Ashok is an internationally renowned speaker, filmmaker, and health practitioner who has dedicated his life to supporting people through chronic illness and achieving their potential. He is the creator of the Gupta Program that teaches others so that they can help train their brain. Thank you so much for joining us today. We met each other at a conference, and we both have the same mission of helping teens take back control of their lives. So we are so thankful that you're here with us today. So let's start with
I was really excited to be with you guys. As you say, we met literally a few weeks ago. We had a lot of fun, had some great conversations. So it's lovely to be with you today.
So tell us about your story. How did you get here?
So how I got here was many years ago. I was studying as an undergrad at Cambridge University in the UK. Many of you might have heard of it. And I was doing my normal thing, at university. People might be partying a bit too much, studying a bit too much stress. And I got a chronic illness where it's something called chronic fatigue syndrome, sometimes known as ME, where whatever you do, it doesn't matter. You just feel exhausted, really, really exhausted. And you open a book and you can't read the words on the book. And I managed to understand, I studied brain neurology essentially, and understand what's going on in my brain that's causing this type of illness. And I retrained my brain. I got myself 100% well. And then I published a medical paper on it and we've helped thousands of other people now with these types of chronic illnesses, which the doctors find mysterious. So we treat things like anxiety, burnout, chronic fatigue, and pain disorders, all kinds of illnesses, which are, when your doctor says, look, here's some pills, there's nothing else I can do for you, then we jump in and say, this is a brain issue that we can retrain.
And so how did you get into helping teens especially? Because I know obviously a lot of brain specialists, when it comes to teens, they're like, okay, I know they're hormonal, they have these issues. But how did you get into helping teens with their lifestyle?
Yeah, well, we help thousands of people. And of course, many people use our program with their kids. So either if someone's a teenager, they can pretty much follow the program themselves, or if they're a little younger, then the parents learn it and then they work with their children to use these types of techniques. But what I'm really super passionate about is that I think that teenagers currently are growing up in a world which is very different to what our brains are evolved and designed for. Right? So if you think of thousands of years of evolution, hundreds of thousands of years, we would live in a certain way. We'd be outdoors, we'd be in nature, we would be sleeping well, we'd be in community. Yeah, we wouldn't be watching screens. And all of a sudden, in the modern age, now we are, unfortunately, not just teenagers, everybody is now glued to these screens, living indoors, not socializing, not meeting people as much. And that's affecting teenagers' brains. We know it's affecting the brain. And so that's just something I'm really passionate about, is that we now need to give people the education and resources to live according to how our brains are designed.
So what exactly is neuroplasticity, and how can kids understand it in simple terms? Because just saying it myself, I'm like struggling myself.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a word, neuroplasticity. You think, oh, that just sounds like who knows what that's talking about. But basically, neuroplasticity is this idea that we used to think the brain is fixed. So once you become, let's say, a teenager, a young adult, the brain is fixed and there's nothing you can do about it. Like your personality is fixed, your reactions are fixed, the foods you like are fixed, and the kinds of illnesses you're going to get are fixed. And they suddenly realize, no, actually, the brain is constantly changing. Yeah. So neuro stands for the brain, neurology, the neurons in your brain, and plasticity comes from the word plastic. So it just basically means your brain is plastic and is constantly changing. And that is very empowering, because normally we think, well, this is just the way I am. Yeah, this is just the way I react. And we suddenly realize we are not fixed human beings. We can change our brain if we know the tools to change our brain. Yeah, and most of us don't. No one teaches us at school, right? This is how you can retrain your brain. And the classic examples of this are, let's say we have a negative thought. Let's say we have an argument with a friend. What then happens, right? We have the argument, and that person has only like said a bad word to us once, or something bad has happened. But like chewing gum, we keep chewing it again and again. I can't believe he said it. Why did he say that? I'm so angry at him. Right, I'm not going to talk to him, or her, or whatever it may be. And we chew it like chewing gum again and again and again. That is an example of neuroplasticity in action, because just that person saying that one thing to us, we've created a neuron in our brain, but because we thought about it again and again and again and again, that neuron became thicker and thicker and thicker. So imagine like a mountain. Imagine your brain is like a mountain, and water is falling on that mountain. Yeah. Now, what happens when it rains on a mountain? Like a big storm of water on the mountain. What then happens? What happens to that water? Would you imagine?
It slides off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It comes off the side of the mountain and creates river streams, right? So you got river streams all down the side of the mountain, and the more water, the water represents the thought energy. The more thought energy goes down these grooves in the mountain, the deeper and deeper those grooves become in the mountain, deeper and deeper grooves. And that's the idea of neuroplasticity, that the more you think about something again and again and again, the deeper the river channels, and the more your brain gets stuck in thinking about it. So we go to the example of chewing the chewing gum. You chew the chewing gum once, that person called you an idiot. Right, you've created one little channel, but you think about it again. I can't believe they called me an idiot. Why did they say that? I'm so angry. You've now put more and more water, and you've dug a channel in your brain. And then what happens? The next day, you're still thinking about it. The next day, you can't get over it because you've created that neuronal pattern in your brain. So neuroplasticity is saying, this is how we form it, but we can also change it and create a new river path so that you don't get stuck in your thoughts.
So how are we able to
that's
use?
so interesting.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're so inspirational.
Yeah, it's very.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a very good way to explaining a more complex topic like neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
So how can adults and teens and even kids use neuroplasticity to help stop feeling as stressed, help stop feeling as worried, and help fixing some of their problems and reversing that thought process as well?
Yeah, well, great question. So yeah, I'd love to leave you guys with a really practical exercise that your audience can actually use straight away, because I think we all experience this, don't we? Right? Our brain gets stuck in worrying, thinking, anxiety, and we think, what am I supposed to do about this? Right? So an example of neuroplasticity, there are 2 or 3 key ingredients of neuroplasticity to create a new riverway down the side of the mountain. The first is repetition. Yeah, so like we said, we keep chewing the chewing gum when we're thinking about somebody. In the same way, if we want to change that, we need to keep repeating the thing again and again and again. And that's the idea of when you learn to play an musical instrument, you have to play that piece again and again and again until your brain can just do it automatically. Or learning to drive a car, you have to go lots of lessons to learn how to drive the car. So in a similar way, we are using repetition and we're using positive emotion. Yeah. Because in our brain learns more of these grooves down the side of the mountain, the stronger the emotion is, whether it's a negative emotion or a positive emotion. And so we want to offset the negative emotion with a really strong positive emotion. All right. And so when we get stuck in these channels of thought, we're going to call this the 4S technique. Each letter represents something. And this is 4 steps we take every time our brain gets stuck, right? So I hope we're all excited and ready for this. So the first S is basically that awareness that we have when we're stuck in that. Because most of the time we're stuck in it and it's unconscious and we're not even realizing that we've got stuck. So the first S stands for stop. Yeah. Well, we just need to take hang on. What is my mind doing here? So most of the time we're involved in all the craziness of our mind. It's going on and on and on. But the stop is to say, let me take a step back. This is all the busyness of my mind. Let me take a step back. So that's just stop and stepping back. So we've got to step back from my mind and go, look, my mind's doing that. My mind's doing that. How interesting. Yeah. So that's the first thing, is to stop. with the awareness. The second S stands for, and this is often a difficult word because it sounds like we are giving up, but the word is surrender. Yeah, not in terms of, oh, I surrender to you, you know, whatever. It actually means letting go. So it's the kind of letting go. So what we do there is we take a deep breath in, and we imagine that wherever that stuck energy is in our head, that negativity, that worry, that stuck thought, we breathe it out and let it go to something that we feel really safe around, or somebody we feel really safe around. So we talk about this idea of creating a safe haven. So let's imagine now, if you were to create the place in the world that you feel the most safe, like it could be your bedroom, it could be a beach, it could be a garden. And imagine you're sitting in that bedroom or that room or that place, nature. And who would you have in that room to make you feel safe? It might be a parent, it might be a friend, right? Or it might be a pet. And what else would you bring into that room to make it really, really safe? Yeah, it could be, if people have a religious or spiritual sense, it might be related to their religion or spirituality that makes them feel really calm and safe. So you imagine you're in that safe space, you're taking a deep breath in with a smile and just letting go and surrendering that worry energy in that moment. Yeah, so that's the second S. And we'll do it all together with something practical in a moment. The third S is what we call shift perspective. Yeah, which basically means, how could you look at this differently? Yeah. So if someone has called us an idiot, or we've had an argument, or I don't know, we got a bad result in one of our papers or essays that we wrote. The third S is saying, how can I look at this differently by shifting my perspective? So I could say, well, that guy called me an idiot, but maybe he's having a really bad day, right? Or actually, that's teaching me that I shouldn't let these people bother me. Do you see? So the moment you suddenly shift it, instead of getting angry and upset at what they said, you're looking at which way can I look at this differently, and how can I actually see it as a positive in some way? Okay, I'm learning to not let people bother me. So him calling me an idiot means that I'm learning a new skill. Let's not relax about it. Yeah. And the fourth S is substitute. How would you like to feel about this differently? So taking the example of having an argument with someone or a bad word exchange, substitute might mean, I am feeling happy and relaxed about the situation. Yeah, and you feel imagine a really positive emotion, repetition and positive emotion. So, hey, I'm relaxed, I'm happy, I don't care. And you imagine that feeling in every cell of your fiber of your being. All right. So what I'd like to do is, let's do this exercise together. So obviously for you guys and anyone who's at home, let's do this exercise together. And this is an example of neuroplasticity in action. Because once you do this 4S technique, if you do it repeatedly, every time that pattern comes in your head, that is the repetition. And eventually that old pattern that you might have had in your head for days, months, years will just go, because you've now created a different. So I'd like us all to think about one thing that's really bothering us right now. Yeah, it could be someone who's annoyed us. It could be a situation we're not happy with that we keep thinking about that's annoying us, upsetting us, something we're afraid of, anything, any emotion. All right. So we all got something?
Yes.
You've got something? Yeah. You'd be very lucky if you didn't have anything to worry or be afraid of. So you imagine that one thing. Okay, so the first thing, we imagine that we're thinking about it and we're ruminating. Ruminating just means keep thinking about it again and again. All right. Then the first thing you do is, you can do it with your hands or you can just do it in your head. You just say, stop. Yeah, in your mind. Stop thinking about that. Then you take in a deep breath from the stomach. You can do it with your eyes closed if you like. And then you imagine you're in your safe place, safe haven, and you breathe out and surrender with a smile. So you put a fake smile on, if you like, and you imagine just you're letting go of all that worry, all that care, all that negativity with a big smile. The smile is important. Even if you don't feel like smiling, you just do it. Now, the third S, shift perspective. How can you look at that situation differently? So I'd like you to just spend a moment just thinking about, how can I look at this in a different way so that it doesn't bother me so much? So as an example, that person that you had an argument with, how can you look at that differently? Maybe something didn't go well at school, or in a different situation, how could you look at it differently? Okay, so spend like 10 seconds, 20 seconds thinking about that. And if you can't think of anything, there's a universal shift perspective you can use in every situation, which is this can be seen as helping me grow and become stronger. So any challenge, what does it do? It helps us grow and become stronger. So whatever it is, okay, it feels uncomfortable, but it's helping me become stronger, helping me grow. Like when you go to the gym, you are lifting those weights. Oh, it can feel quite painful, but actually you're building the muscle, resilience. And now the fourth S, substitute. So think about that situation or that person. How would you like to feel? And now imagine it in I am, I feel sentences as if you're actually feeling it. So I am calm and relaxed about it, or I feel stronger now to deal with this situation. And with a smile, just imagining yourself feeling stronger. So spend a moment just imagining that. To substitute to the new feeling you'd like to have. Okay, and now you close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and imagine that feeling of I am like this, I feel. Imagine that overtaking your whole body, and with a big smile, clench your right fist and just really feel like you are being stronger, calmer, happier in that situation. Okay, and now relax. Okay, how does that feel?
Thanks, so much better, because now instead of letting those thoughts ruminate in your head, you're able to actually act on them and take control of your thoughts, which I think teens and people all around the world need so much. So thank you. That was amazing.
Yeah. And so as a reminder, so people, maybe if they've got a piece of paper, they can write it down. So the first is stop and step back from your thoughts. Second one is surrender and let go. Just letting it go to your representation of love. The third, shift perspective, looking at it differently. And the fourth is substitute with a really strong, powerful, positive emotion. And guess what? 10 minutes later, you might have that negative thought again. Stop. Shift perspective, substitute. I feel happy, I feel relaxed about this situation. And then the more you repeat it, you create a new groove down the side of the mountain. And eventually your brain will stop thinking about the old thoughts and it will think about the new way of being. And when we do this with people, they find that within hours, within days, something they've been worrying about for years just dissolves. It's gone because you've created the new pathways in your brain.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And definitely something that like we teens should especially start using a lot more whenever we have like a test going or someone's like not being not nice to us. Really, when we're just like feeling like something is taking over us, we can do it to not worry about that and really focus on other things. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are, so many times it might be our parents, it might be our teachers. They'll say, don't be angry, don't be sad, don't have this emotion. But then we're often not given the tools and the skills to deal with these emotions at those particular times, And these emotions we sometimes think are bad. Actually, the emotions are not bad. The emotions are just emotions. But what happens is if they hang around and get stuck in our head, that's the challenge. And that's where we need these tools to let them go.
If our brains could talk, what do you think they'd tell us to do more every day?
Great question. So I always say there are 4 things to have a healthy brain. All right. And you may remember we talked about MEND, the 4 letters that represent the 4 pillars of health. So mind, exercise, nutrition, deep sleep. If your brain could speak right now, it would say, in these 4 things, I'd love for you to do some good stuff to help me feel strong, feel clear, feel like I'm helping you. So the first one, mind. Every day, our mind needs downtime. And so we might think, but hang on, I'm sleeping every night. That's my downtime. It's not so. Sleep is important, but it's not just sleep. Our mind needs what we call conscious relaxation. So all of us need to think about, for 10 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day, what is something that I can do which is conscious relaxation? Yeah. So for some of us, that might be, we might go for a walk in nature, right? For some of us, that might be doing some deep breathing and meditation, right? So deep breath and meditation. I'm sure you've had people on your podcast before who talked about how the power of meditation, especially for fidgety minds. You've got a busy mind. You think, I can't meditate. But actually, if you can't meditate, it's 10 times more important for you to actually do it. Another conscious relaxation might be a massage. Another conscious relaxation might be just daydreaming. Sometimes we never daydream because we think the moment we're bored, let's reach for our phone, let's reach for a screen. Just daydreaming and being bored is actually good for the brain. Yeah? E stands for exercise. So the MEND. E stands for exercise. Every day, just doing at least 10 minutes of something that raises your heart rate, 15 minutes even is great. That's going to help in terms of keeping your brain healthy, alert. Because every time you exercise, you clean out a lot of the waste products from the brain, and you create these neuropeptides in the brain that actually create good feelings and help you feel happier. N stands for nutrition. I'm sure you've had plenty of people on your podcast around nutrition, so we won't spend too long on that, but a good healthy diet, less processed foods. We all know the score, right, on that front. And then D for deep sleep. You know, a lot of us aren't getting the deep sleep that we used to, because when we're on screens a lot, especially in the evening after dinner, we tend to re-stimulate our brain. But after dinner, our brain, just like a baby, you have to wind down for a baby to help it get to sleep. Our brains, after 7 o'clock in the evening, 6 o'clock in the evening, it needs a gentle wind down. But most of us might be playing computer games. We might be, watching television. We might be on our screens. And all of these things re-stimulate the brain. So what can you do in the evening is to help your brain relax and calm down? So we know that reading instead of being on a screen is beneficial. We know that walking in nature is good. Go for an evening walk. We know that playing games with your family, not online, but like board games and things like that, actually calm and relax the brain. Socializing can help relax the brain. And of course, any relaxation techniques. So allowing our brain to have the wind down so that when it goes to sleep, not only is it getting to sleep on time, but it's also having deeper sleep instead of being stimulated. And so I think under the MEND protocol, those are the 4 pillars that help us have a healthy, strong brain.
So what do you think, for anybody listening, what is one thing every kid can do today to help their brain and make sure that their brain works at the best it can?
Like one thing that they can just probably do like right now or today.
One thing, the best thing that you can do for your brain that's instant, quick, and it will take you 30 seconds. But most of you won't want to do it. So this is my challenge to you. Switching off all notifications on all your devices. Yeah, that's the number one thing. Now, why is that? Because our brain, when it is going along a certain path and certain thoughts, concentration, focus, the moment it gets distracted, it does this. And then you try to bring it back to concentration. Then it gets distracted by an alert on your phone or someone calling you. That is not good for the brain, essentially. It's not good for its focus and its concentration. So that's one thing that we can do, is not only to switch off notifications, but of course, I sound like, many people who talk about this, but reducing our screen time and concentrating it in particular sections. So rather than saying, right, I'm going to be on my screen or on my phone, like throughout the day, saying, okay, this is the time when I'm using my screen for fun time, being on social media or whatever it may be. And the rest of the time, I'm actually going to be productive. So we might still be on a screen, but we are being focused on productive on work rather than multitasking backwards and forwards, which our brain just doesn't like.
All right. So remember, it's just so easy to do. Turn off notifications. I know, for a lot of kids, it's super hard to turn off screens and to have less screen time. But trust me, 6-7 hours of screen time, even 4 or 3 is not good for your brain. And as teens and as kids, we need to have a healthy brain in the future. And so being able to do that just sets us up for so much success in the future.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think that what's happening is many of us are substituting being on a screen for real world interaction. And what that's doing is it's rewiring our brain in such a way that we are not feeling the good feelings that we have around friends, around family, and all the good feel-good chemicals in the brain, like oxytocin, serotonin. All these are now dampening down. So as much as possible, the more that we can substitute a screen, away from a screen, to real-world interactions, that is going to benefit us in the long term.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, we love this so much. This is such an powerful episode. So where can people learn more about you and your amazing work?
Sure. So they can come to our program. It's an app called Gupta Program. And the Gupta Program is specifically designed for, I think, more kind of serious conditions where people have anxiety or burnout, or, you know, they just need help with their brain overall. And also some of these chronic illnesses, you know, long COVID, chronic fatigue, lots of kids getting these conditions. So that program is designed for when things have kind of gone too far. But of course, generalized anxiety, a lot of people use that app for that. And there's lots of free stuff on there. So there's free breath work, free meditation. So if you're thinking, I don't know where to go to really help calm my brain, straight away you can have access to really simple tools and techniques to help you.
So maybe tell us more about the program, because I know we talked about it, and honestly, it could be really helpful for teens, adults, and even kids. So tell us more about the program and how people can use it.
Sure. So the Gupta Program is basically a neuroplasticity program. And in the program, there's lots of videos, there's lots of audios and relaxation techniques, and people can pick how long they have. So if we have a busy mind, we might say, right, I can only do 10 minutes, but we have 20 minutes and 30 minutes and 40 minutes. And also involved in that program is weekly webinars with myself. And we also have daily sessions, right? So we're one of the only programs in the world that every day, live on Zoom, we have one of our team come on and they lead you through how to relax your mind, how to relax your body, how to help your focus and concentration. So that's something that's free on the app as well. You can come on Zoom every day for free and be able to relax your mind. So that's some of the tools on there. And there's also an AI version of myself. So I've taken everything I've ever said in the last 10 years, all the webinars, all the podcasts, all my YouTube channel content, and put it into a virtual reality version of me, well, virtual AI version of me. And people find that really powerful, because then you can ask me any question about health and well-being, and it will search what I've said before, and then you can get advice that's personalized to you.
That sounds like it's going to be amazing. So everyone, remember to check that out when that drops, and check out his platform and the Gupta Program, because he's so inspirational and so empowering for the world. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Now time to read out Mr. Ashok's key points.
Teens are growing up in a world where our brains are not designed for the modern world. We are not socializing, just scrolling, stuck indoors and in our phones. Because of that, our brains are suffering.
The brain is constantly changing. You are not just the way you are. We are not fixed. We can change our mind. The more you think about something, the more your brain can get stuck.
We can change our brains with the 4S technique. We need to offset the negative emotions by a strong positive emotion repeatedly.
S. Take a step back. Think, what is my mind doing? Recognize what's happening to you. S. Surrender. Let it go. Take a deep breath. Then breathe it out. And always end it with a smile. The third S. Shift. Shift perspective. How can you look at this differently? And how can you see this in a more positive way? The universal way of doing it is just telling yourself, this is going to help me grow personally. And the last S, substitute. How would you like to feel instead? Say to yourself in I am sentences.
We need to take care of our brains. Meditation, daydreaming.
And there's so much more that we can
Meditation, daydreaming, being bored, like having, that'll all help us retrain our brain, because our brain needs it. And especially exercise, focus, and being on a healthy diet and deep sleep are also insanely important for our brains. So we need a gentle wind down, but after evening.
Well, We are so honored for you to be on our show. Thank you so much. It's been our pleasure.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and keep up the amazing work that you guys are doing.
And everybody listening, definitely go check out Dr. Gupta. We've said it so many times, but he's just so amazing. And right now, our brains need help, and he's there to offer that help. So thank you so much. Definitely check him out. And
and thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Zin. I'm
Abdullah.
And I'm Imad.
Follow my family and I on social media, Holistic Mom D, and look out for our new best-selling book, The Teen Health Revolution, releasing December 11, 2025. Kids need to learn from other kids. Please download our podcast on iTunes and leave a review so other kids and families can benefit. We need to create a healthy future for all of us and the planet. Join us next week for another episode of the Holistic Kids Show, where kids are empowering kids.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
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 Bye.